Ibhedlela balwashwa ngayo imali yethu lene vele ingekho. Bangena khona balashe mahala. Umuntu oyesibhedlela naseklinika akangene ephethe ID. Ukuyesibona ukuthi ngaphela unayo undocumented ukuba lapha. Ngisho ezikoleni bafunda ngayo le mali yethu engekho kule mfundo yethu yamahala. Esikole lapha KwaZulu-Natal esina 40% enrollment. Yeyingane nje lezi zalabantu bokufika abagcwele lapha ngaphakathi.
It cannot be correct that you have a South African child who will be admitted at a school further than their home of a school of preference because we have non-South Africans who are occupying those seats.
Each and every child in this country has to have a right to education and it cannot be impeded, and learners, especially those who are undocumented, cannot be discriminated against.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. A viral clip of KZN Premier Ntuli has surfaced, and he didn't sugarcoat anything. He said what so many of us have been screaming for years, that undocumented foreigners are stealing our rights, overburdening our schools and clinics, and the government is letting it happen. All under the pathetic excuse that the Constitution gives them rights. Ntuli spoke plainly, even calling out his own colleagues. But here's the question, is this just talk or will he actually make something happen?
Balwashwa ngayo imali yethu lene vele ingekho. Bangena khona balashe mahala. Ngisho ezikoleni bafunda ngayo le mali yethu engekho kule mfundo yethu yamahala. Besikhuluma nomhlonishwa ngongqosho wezemfundo nje, umhlonishwa uShomuka, engixoxela ukuthi kunesikole lapha KwaZulu-Natal esina 40% enrollment. Yeyingane nje lezi zalabantu bokufika abagcwele lapha ngaphakathi. Manje ke angazi mhlonishwa uNomagugu Simelane ungqongqoshe wezempilo noma singeke sixoxe indaba yokuthi njenge cabinet umuntu oyesibhedlela naseklinika akangene ephethe ID. Ukuyesibona ukuthi ngaphela unayo undocumented ukuba lapha. Ngoba mina angikholwa ukuthi singakhuluma ngokuthi ngenxa yamalungelo abantu kufanele phela sibanikeze ama services. Sithini ngamalungelo abantu balapha KwaZulu-Natal asebephucwe bona bephucwa abantu bokufika abangena ama document okuba lapha ngaphakathi. Ake sixoxe le. Mangabe ukhona oshokuhlukile ke sim engage ukuthi senze njani ukuvikela ikusasa leKwaZulu-Natal, because this government is for the people of KwaZulu-Natal. These people voted for us and we must prioritize them. We must lead, champion any program that will protect their rights.
In a recent address to the community, Premier Ntuli laid it out plainly. Even in hospitals, illegal foreigners are receiving free medical services. Even in our schools, they're getting free education, funded with the little money budgeted for South Africans. He shared a shocking statistic. At one school in KZN, over 40% of learners are not South African. 40%, that's nearly half the school. And yet our own children are being sent to overcrowded schools far from home. Premier Ntuli told the MEC for Health directly, enough is enough. He said every person visiting a clinic must produce an ID so we know who is here legally and who is not. He says he doesn't believe in the notion that these illegal foreigners have equal rights as the citizens. And he reminds the MEC that the people are the ones who voted them in power, and so they shouldn't just stand by and watch as their rights are being stolen by illegal foreigners. Now, I agree with him, and so do many South Africans. It's rare to hear a politician speak so openly, so bluntly, and so truthfully. But here's the catch. Talking is not enough. We've heard speeches before. We've heard promises before. The real question is, will something actually be done? Will the MEC for Health take this forward? Will it be debated in Parliament? Will it lead to a change in the law or even the Constitution? Or are we once again being fed empty words? Because while politicians talk, South Africans suffer. You can't get medication at your local clinic because stock has run out. Yet the system is serving people who aren't even supposed to be here. You can't get your child into the nearest school, yet classrooms are filled with children of illegal foreigners. That's not just bad policy, that's the blatant violation of our rights. Now, Operation Dudula is planning to act. In 2026, they want to stop the children of foreign nationals from attending our public schools. Education activists call it unconstitutional. Human rights groups call it xenophobic. Dudula and the rest of South Africa calls it common sense.
Now, Operation Dudula plans to stop children of foreign nationals from attending public schools. Education activists are condemning this move, though, which is the group being accused of xenophobia, saying the country needs to put its citizens first. It's been warned that its actions are unconstitutional and illegal.
We want to prioritize our own South Africans more than anything. It cannot be correct that you have a South African child who will be admitted at a school further than their home, of a school of preference, because we have non-South Africans who are occupying those seats. Now, yes, the Constitution does say that every child has a right to education, but again, we are misinterpreting the Constitution. This talks about children that are actually South Africans and not of foreigners. Now, this Constitution was drafted because of the people of South Africa prior apartheid. There was exclusion of Black, colored, and Indians. But after that, because of the inclusion and diversity, that's when it talks about everyone who lives in it. So when we talk about these children, it's not children of foreign nationals, but it's children of South Africa that needs to be prioritized.
But Equal Education says this campaign violates South Africa's constitution. They've criticized Operation Dudula, warning that blocking children from accessing education is harmful and unlawful. Ayanda, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. And you're absolutely right. I mean, just looking at what the constitution does actually say about this, it says in section 29 1A and section 9, it gives everyone an equal right to basic education and prohibits discrimination against any child. In accessing this right, no child may be excluded from attending a public school regardless of their documentation status or nationality. That was just for anyone who did not know what the Constitution actually says. And I'd like you to share your feelings as Equal Education about this and Operation Dudula taking this stand at this point.
We as Equal Education are deeply concerned by the plans that are coming up in order to occupy public schools, because as you rightly said, each and every child in this country has to have a right to education, and it cannot be impeded, and learners, especially those who are undocumented, cannot be discriminated against when it comes to access to public schools. This was a ruling that was enshrined in the Constitution and also was ratified by the High Courts in the Eastern Cape High Court Division in the Centre for Child Law versus others versus the Department of Basic Education, and also has been ratified in the BELA Act as well, to say that undocumented learners cannot be shut out of accessing schools. So what is being planned to take place in the following year is really deeply concerning, considering that every single child in this country by law has to be inside of a schooling system.
Zandile Dabula said it plainly. It cannot be correct that a South African child is sent far from home because foreigners occupy those seats. South African children must be prioritized. And here's where the battle lines are drawn. Equal Education and other activists insist that the Constitution gives every child, regardless of nationality or documentation, the right to a public school education. They warn that Dudula's plan is illegal, harmful, and discriminatory. And this is the heart of the issue. Our activists, our human rights organizations, they fight tooth and nail for foreigners. But where is this energy when it comes to protecting South Africans? Is there loyalty to the Constitution or to the people? Because if you've lived in our townships, if you've seen the strain on our schools, our hospitals, our housing, you know this system is broken. You know our resources are stretched to breaking point. And yet, we're told to accept it. We're told to share our already limited resources with the entire continent. And if we object, we're told we're xenophobic. This is why Premier Thami Ntuli's speech matters. It's why Dudula's push matters. Whether it's clinics or classrooms, our people need to come first. And it's about time more leaders had the courage to say it publicly. So yes, we hear the Premier loud and clear. We hear Dudula loud and clear. But speeches are not enough. Marches are not enough. South Africa doesn't just need talk, it needs action. Because our people have been patient, they have been understanding, but patience and understanding runs out. And when it does, we will remember who spoke out and who stayed silent. Watch the video on your left to see Operation Dudula members arrested in Soweto for protecting our healthcare system. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Until next time.